candidate Cornes, so please tell me if you can't hear her. But we will start with her for her 2-minute opening statement.
Hi, I'm Thida Cornes. Can you hear me? I have non-progressive dystonia. You may see me jerk or move around or stumble over words. That's just me. I do some things differently to help with my disability, like having her hold the microphone. For one thing, I have a service dog who assists me, who you may have seen. Thank you for creating this space for women. I'm running because I'm committed to ensuring that all our students feel connected, embrace challenges, and thrive. My experience as a disabled Anglo-Burmese immigrant and mother of 2 drives my years of experience of public service. My daughter was a high-achieving student at MBLA, and my son was in MBLA Special Ed. I started volunteering in elementary school, serving on PTA and site council. I joined the Parcel Tax Committee to use my business skills. I earned my MBA from UC Berkeley while working full-time as a director at a high-tech firm. Staff then asked me to join boundaries and facilities committees. Boundaries are definitely the art of compromise. I'm most proud that on the facilities committee, we added 3 special education classrooms at no additional cost. I'll bring that collaborative, innovative thinking to the board. I've been a member of the League of Women Voters Education Committee and challenged him for years. I've observed every board meeting since April. This first-hand knowledge of how the educational experience must adapt to students' needs motivates me to help every student succeed. I advocated for youth when I served on the Parks and Rec Commission for 8 years and as vice chair of the Mountain View Environmental Sustainability Task Force, where some of the members were youth. I served on my church board helping youth during the pandemic. My priorities are improving mental health and wellness, promoting academic achievement of all students regardless of their circumstances, deepening and fostering relationship with MPLA's partners, and ensuring fiscal responsibility and transparency. I went on a listening tour and met with many of these constituencies of NVLA. I was honored by the endorsements of women like Anna Eshu, Lisa Faber, Stanley Meadows, Jessica Spicer, and other leaders in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Cornes. Candidate Ortiz?
My pleasure.
That was not me. All right.
Yeah.
So good evening, everyone. Grateful to be here and provided the opportunity to speak to all of you. I come from a household of very strong women, starting with my mother, who had 3 daughters, and my dad was always outnumbered. My mother has always modeled the resilience and strength that has guided my own dreams and ambitions. My mom was not fortunate enough to have access to quality education, but she always made sure that my sisters and I did. I work at the Boys and Girls Club, and I've worked with hundreds of families and moms in particular who want the same thing my mom wanted for her daughters. My work is what I believe can make me an effective board member for MVLA. I have the privilege of making a career out of responding to the needs of students. In my 10 years at BGCP, we've built a high school post-secondary program that's helping students find the resources, the opportunity, and agency to define their own success. We've done this through piloting a pharmacy tech program in partnership with Foothill. We connect with partners like Google to provide internships. And we've partnered with Acknowledge Alliance to increase access to mental health services, and we're defying college attainment statistics. And this is all possible thanks to key partners ranging from staff, administrators, students, and parents who are working effectively and collaborating. As a first-gen Latina college graduate who attended California's K-12 public schools, I know how critical they are in determining student success. I don't have children yet. However, I do have hundreds of students every year that allow me to keep a close pulse on the needs of students today and inform the possibilities for tomorrow. I've dedicated my career to closing the opportunity gap and helping students access the resources and social capital necessary to prepare them for their definition of success. And this makes me a candidate that understands the immense responsibility of not just being well-intentioned, but well-informed when setting a vision for our students. I want all moms and families to experience the pride that my mom did every time my sisters and I walked across the stage during graduation. So thank you, and I look forward to serving the MBLA community.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jackie Tanner. I've lived in our community for over 50 years. I've gone through the entire public school system. I am a first-generation college graduate, and I did that while I was working. I'm also a first-generation homeowner, so I truly understand the need for a good education to help elevate your lifestyle and your family's lifestyle. At this time, I have a freshman at Los Altos High School, my alma mater, as a matter of fact, which is pretty cool. The last 10 years, I've been working at Tesla Motors, very stressful place. While I was working there, I also volunteered at school when I could, doing weekends, evenings, such. I am actually very happy to say that I have just retired. And that has given me the great opportunity to do my civic duty, which is to run for board. I plan on using my extensive data-driven business knowledge, my time, and my energy to grow the school district. They're doing a great job, and I know that I can bring it to the next level. My goals are to prepare our school's enrollment growth. We know it's going to happen. We just don't know when. We need to be prepared for it to get there. I want to make sure we have fiscal responsibility and transparency. I want to make sure that we improve our communication within the school district and within the community. We can't do this by ourselves. We can't live in a vacuum. We need everyone's help to do that. I want to better prepare our 8th graders for the transition from elementary and middle school to high school. And I want to ensure that you need to stop. I'll tell you guys this later. Thank you.
Thank you for adhering to the time limit. Candidate Titus-Zambre.
Good evening, ladies. It's really a fantastic event, and thank you so much for putting it all together. It's lovely, and it's lovely to be empowered by women, supporting women, so thank you so much for the organizers. My name is Carrol Titus-Zambre, and I was born, raised, and educated in Santa Clara Valley. I earned my MBA from Santa Clara University in Information Systems and Quantitative Solutions, and I'm also a Woelfel Scholarship winner. Subsequently, I worked for 15 years at Fortune 50, such as Cisco, Sunvisa corporations, and as board advisory to high-tech startup organizations like UJAMA and Intensivate. As president of Golden Poppy Inc., a state-of-the-art STEM e-learning company, we are internationally recognized for constructively closing the gaps in STEM learning with personalized outcomes for every child. My community service, I've had 11 years servicing the community, both as a Girl Scout troop leader, the head coach for the boys Los Altos JV team, as well as many years coaching National Youth Volleyball League for the cities of Mountain View, Palo Alto, and Saratoga with over 300 families. So all 3 of my children are scholar athletes, and they have benefited greatly from the advanced academic and wellness curriculum in the district. My goal is to have every MBLA student graduate with the 21st century skills they need to thrive academically, socially, emotionally, and physically by continuously improving the quality of services we're providing, maximizing learning outcomes, and enhancing our community stewardship. Thank you.
And finally, incumbent Catherine Vonnegut.
As she said, I'm Catherine Vonnegut, and I'm the incumbent. I've had the honor and pleasure of being on the school board for 4 years, and I'm now the current president of the board. Please look me up on my website for all the other volunteer things I've done over the last 35 to 40 years in the local area. We're going to have at least 2 completely new members on the board, if I am elected, because 2 incumbents are retiring. And I hope to stay on the board to continue consistent, calm, and collaborative leadership and guidance and working with the new folks and towards my mission I've had all along. 4 years ago, I said excellent academic education, wellness, and supervising finances was very important. They were very important. I said that at that time in a naive way. They were great concepts, but I did not really know the knowledge and have the knowledge and understanding of the complications and implications of every single one of those words and concepts. So my mission is to engage the community with equity, and that is a new focus on our board. Deliver excellent academic education, but we do. Still supervise the finances, still support wellness, communicate more and more and more. That seems to be very important. We have a lot of wonderful services, but not everybody knows about them and is connected to them. And I'm into implementation, innovation and implementation of new programs and ideas with a roundtable kind of discussion to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opening statements. As in the other rounds, we're going to rotate who starts. So this first question will be for candidate Ortiz to begin. If you can pass her the mic back, and then we'll continue down that way and circle back over here. So candidate Ortiz, do you support, this question was submitted by a guest. Do you support ethnic studies being taught? Why or why not?
Absolutely. I've actually been in conversation with the teacher who's been leading the efforts, Ms. Julie Yick, to understand a little bit more around how the vetting process, how the current curriculum that we're going to pilot or piloted, how it came to be, and I was very excited to learn that it's been informed from many different perspectives. I think that's part of the goal of teaching ethnic studies to students. I also think it's important for all students to sort of see themselves in curriculum, and I think too often students only get that opportunity when they get to college, for those that get to go to college. And so I think that that's, I was very excited to know that MVLA is already on the path, and I think there will need to be conversations about what needs to be modified or edited after learning how this round goes.
I definitely think we should embrace the ethnic studies program. What I saw with my daughter, though, is she was given the option of taking standard history or ethnic studies. So I don't know if next year she'll be offered the ethnic studies group or if it was just for freshmen. So I want to make sure that that is available for her and for the rest of the students for the entire 4 years at the school. I want to make sure that they have that option. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm definitely into research and doing pilots and really maximizing the learning outcomes. So I'm very curious, what are the intended outcomes for this? And how is the curriculum versus the implementation going? I really like to see the feedback on that. I think it's really important to have very strong curriculum and very strong implementation, because either one, you don't have, if you don't have the curriculum right, or if you don't have the implementation right, you're not going to have a productive class. And forget about quality control. It's gone out the window. So I'm really interested to see how this plays out as it is in pilot. I know it is a optional class. And I think, that's great that the kids have extra choice. It certainly ties in with the UCs where they have ethnic studies. So if kids are on that track, it's really important that they have that mentoring in that field. So yeah, I'm very, very interested to see how the outcomes are relayed. Thank you.
That's good. Of course, we need ethnic studies. Not to mention the fact that it's a state requirement within a couple of years that we have ethnic studies in our high schools. We are doing it as a pilot, which addresses many of these concerns. So the parents, the students can see the framework and the curriculum as it evolves this year. And then we have feedback from all partners, and then we can hit the ground running with a more official final curriculum starting next year for our students. And we are expecting to do it for freshmen. And we have heard the comment of, can it be offered to people that are already past freshmen that want to take it? And we'll certainly be looking into that and seeing how that can be accommodated.
So I agree with what Trustee Vonnegut said, so I won't repeat it. But what I will say is there was double the student interest in taking the pilot phase, so clearly students are really hungering for this class. I agree with the purpose of this class, which is to create empathy, connection, and solidarity among students of all backgrounds, and to develop critical thinking and civic engagement skills. A dedicated team of teachers has spent over a year developing the course, and the controversy about ethnic studies at the state level will be covered in the class. It's an inquiry-based class, not teachers telling students what to think, and they will develop critical thinking, writing, reading, research, and public speaking. I want to take this class. Students of all backgrounds will explore their identity, learn how to participate thoughtfully in an informed way in civic discourse and in our democracy with empathy and respect. Think about if we had that at the national level. And learn how to pursue actions of change in solidarity with others through civic engagement. And I agree with the thematic approach of dividing things up by the course by themes like education and housing rather than dividing people up by groups. Thank you.
This next question, we will start with candidate Tanner. If MVLA started a search for a site for a new high school, what skills or expertise would be needed from the board? And what skills or expertise would you contribute?
Not sure how to answer that. Because a lot of that involves the community, and the community needs to help with the infrastructure. I think the board just needs to support what the city wants to, what the city suggests to do, and then we would look at the policies and the procedures to see what we can do to make sure we get what we want for our students. I would just say we'd have to play it by ear. I'm new to the office position, so I would question the status quo. I want to hear what they are going to offer, what we can afford, and go from there.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I definitely know there's attrition in the lower grades, but there is expected to be same or more forecasted for the high school. So I think a site makes sense for the long-term planning of the district, like 5-10 years. We definitely would need to do some site analysis and figure out where exactly that population is, probably Mountain View, so we probably want to put it over there. And I would like to work with Google. They have lots of space and lots of resources to, I think, work jointly with the city to come to something that's very attainable. Then we'd have to put together a plan, obviously. once we had some sites identified, and always a continuous feedback with the community on throughout that research, planning, and then the actual implementation phase. Thank you.
Okay, I'll let you in on something. We have been working on this for the whole 4 years that I've been on the board already. It's not an easy problem. And COVID put us back because we were thinking, well, are people going to spring back and then want to do housing and more businesses here and so on? And they do. And so before Mountain View City Council and Planning, they're already got plans that are going to produce at least 2,600 more students. Neither of our current comprehensive high schools has that many yet. We need a completely new school, and we need it in the area on the other side of El Camino. And we have lawyers. We have lawyers that specialize in real estate that advise us and interact with public officials, plus real estate agents and so on, and know how to talk to them about doing this sort of thing. We need to have advocacy with the cities and cooperation with the cities, particularly Mountain View in this case, on working together. Because did you know that schools are not a community benefit in the definition by the government? But schools are our most important benefit. Thank you.
Where's my turn? Okay. Well, I also knew that there was not a secret. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? No? Yes? Okay. So I already knew that this was in the works, and I agree that it needs to be north of El Camino because that's where the housing is going. And I think for equity purposes, it either needs to be same size as our other high schools or a specialty high school. To make a regular high school, that's 10 acres. That's a big, big ask. So I don't know how we're going to do that, but somehow. The other thing, what I have experience on is working on the facilities committee with Mountain View Wisman, where we renovated all of our schools and built 2 new schools. So I know from that how difficult it is to find sites, how difficult it is to build schools, how much regulation there is around schools. So I already have experience in this area, and I'm going to be really looking at where are the sites. I mean, if I'm elected, what are the sites that are possible? And having these conversations, because I already have relationships with city council members in Los Altos and Mountain View, but I think it's likely to be Mountain View as to where it's going to be, and also with Google. Please give us money because land is so expensive, and you're the one that wants to build more housing. Thank you.
And candidate Ortiz.
Great. So I had a series of many conversations with many community members, and this is probably the hot topic. This is like the #1 thing that has come up consistently. So I'm glad that this question was asked. And I think the #1 thing, because it's such a complex issue, is a series of many conversations. It's a lot of leaning on relationships in order to keep an open dialogue, open communication, because it is going to require a wide range of folks. And in terms of sort of what I can bring into this conversation is the ability to ask, I think, very critical questions, the ability to have deep community outreach. I think Spanish fluency will go a long way. But also through my work at Boys and Girls Club, we're having a similar conversation as we just have expanded the geographical location of our services, and building a new clubhouse is actually something that's in the works, and we're already having conversations, and it's within our 10-year plan. I don't know if we have 10 years, but I know that, that experience could really benefit just even in the process in terms of where to start. So.
Thank you. Okay, we're already at our last question, which is crazy. The time has flown very quickly. So our last question is, what skills or experiences are especially important for office holders to possess over the next 4 years? And what are your qualifications in these areas? I believe, are we starting with you?
I haven't started yet.
Yes, okay, so we're starting with you. Candidate Titus-Zambre.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think you're going to need short-term and long-term range planning. You're going to need governance. You're going to need to be able to set policy. You're going to be able to need to work within all the different stakeholders that you would, teachers, parents, administration, and make sure it's the glue is tight, that you are collaborating, and that we were acting as one board. And I definitely bring these skills. I've founded my own company. I've been running my own board for several years, and I've also had board experience with several high-tech companies. So I understand the dynamics where you want to have a board that is diverse, that has different lenses coming in so that you get the best outcomes. And that's been proven, qualitatively and quantitatively again and again. And I think you just have to be someone who loves kids and wants the best for them and wants to see that next generation really thrive, after what we've gone through. And I think I bring those qualities and more.
Okay. I'm a software engineer, and I think very organized. The list, the organization, the don't repeat things, have them all lined up and organized. So like we're already working on our plans in the district to align them better, the local accountability plan and the WASP plans and the goals of each school and the safety plans and so on. And so I would like to continue to have those working in concert and work well together. I've been part of a calm, consistent, and collaborative board, got us through COVID, got several other great things accomplished over the last 4 years, and I think I can help do that again. I also happen to be a former EMT, and I've worked with the schools in both IT, in VLA, in IT consulting, and also in safety and emergency prep areas. And that helps me a lot with the wellness side and understanding. For instance, as an EMT, we have classes in psychological wellness and so on like that too, and emergencies. So I think I bring all that too, and just plain 4 years experience doing the darn job.
Are you ready?
Sure. So first of all is good governance. I think working well with others. I think it's important to have a sense of humor because things can get heavy. I think it's also important to work in partnerships with other organizations. We use a lot of outside resources and to work with our other school districts and our city councils. I have a unique background, as I've already mentioned to you, and I have a special interest in special ed and mental health. Mental health is personal to me. I also have an MBA, as I mentioned, so I'll be keeping a close eye on the budget, which is really important. I believe budget is a statement of values. And I believe in fostering partnerships and listening to other people. I did a listening tour before I decided to run, and I'll continue to be listening to you, the community, when I make decisions. And I'm also a policy wonk. I didn't get to mention a lot of the research that I've done, but I thoroughly research topics and I really do my homework. So you can be sure that if you ask me a question and when I'm on the board, I will at least have an answer, or I will tell you, I will get back to you with the answer. Thank you.
So I think two areas that are top of mind that we need to think about as we think about both the short term and the long term is the ever evolving higher ed landscape and how that really impacts our students at the high school level. And so I think there needs to be more around really diversifying how we think about post-secondary education and how we think about what a successful pathway looks like. Because I think that impacts so many other things. The achievement gap, wellness, and just the sense of belonging that students feel or don't feel within their schools. And so I see this every day at work, both during the school day within the district partners actually now, a couple of different districts I work with, but also during the after school hours, which are such critical hours for our young people. And so that's the perspective that I hope to bring to the board. Someone who's very much doing the work every day with students and a wide range of students. And I also like to see and share some creative ideas in terms of how we address wellness in diverse ways. I think there's been a lot that MBLA has done, particularly after the pandemic. And there's still a lot more work to be done. And I think getting a little creative around being able to serve students' wellness in diverse ways.
So I'll provide a unique perspective. Being new to public office, I don't have any special interests. I'm a fresh, open mind. I have now the time and the energy to support the board, be on the board. I'm here to listen to the people, and education is super important to me. And I plan on being here for the short term, 4 years, and 8 years, and 12 years. I'm not going anywhere, so I believe that I will be a stable position for the board.
Thank you so much to our candidates for the Board of Trustees for Mountain View Los Altos High School District. Very much appreciate you being here.